Are you depending more on furniture to walk through your house, even though you've never needed help before? A hand on the kitchen counter. A quick reach for the back of the chair. Maybe you tell yourself, it's just for balance, or just in case. But deep down, a quieter voice might be asking something harder. When did this start? And why is it getting worse? If you are a man in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, I want you to know something important. Your balance isn't just a physical skill. It's a form of trust between your mind and your body. And when that trust begins to fade, even a simple hallway can feel like a mountain. But here's the truth. Most people never hear. Balance problems aren't just from aging. In fact, doctors now estimate that over 99% of older men will lose balance at some point. Not because they're weak, but because of fixable daily mistakes. And today, I want to help you fix them. Some of these mistakes are hiding in your shoes, your bathroom, your drinking habits, even your pride. And one of them, mistake number 6, is the one that nearly sent me straight to the floor. I'll show you exactly how to rebuild your stability, your confidence, and your calm, one step at a time. Stay with me. This could quietly change how you walk through the rest of your life. I would appreciate it if you like this video. It helps me continue sharing these healing truths about growing older with strength, peace, and positive energy. Let's begin with something that seems so ordinary. Most men never question it, until the day it trips them up. I'm talking about your shoes, not just what you wear outside, but what you slip on around the house. Because as we grow older, the ground doesn't change, but the way we stand on it does. Mistake number 1, still wearing the same shoes you wore 10 years ago, even though your feet have changed. When I turned 70 years old, I still wore the same pair of loafers I'd trusted for years. Leather, broken in, easy to slip on. They felt like old friends. But one morning, carrying a bag of tools across the driveway, I caught the toe on a slight bump in the concrete. I didn't fall, but I twisted hard and scared myself more than I cared to admit. That's when I learned something I wish I'd known earlier. After 60, a man's feet start changing shape. The arches drop, the padding under the heel thins, and the nerves don't respond as quickly. And that means the shoes that once gave you stability might now be quietly working against you. Imagine building a house on soft soil. Even if the walls are strong, if the ground is unstable, the whole thing wobbles. Your shoes are your foundation. And if they're too worn, too loose, or too flat, your steps become guesses instead of commands. Doctors now say that one of the biggest hidden causes of falls in older men is poor footwear. What helps? A firm, non-slip sole. Arch and heel support. Like memory foam or a good insole, a shoe that hugs your ankle, not flops around it. And yes, they even make them in styles that look good. No need to settle for orthopedic bricks. Around the house, many men wear socks or slippers. But if your slippers have slick bottoms, that's like walking on ice in summer. These days, I wear a lightweight shoe with grip even when I'm just fetching the mail. The change in how I walk, taller, more certain, has surprised even me. You see, falling isn't always about weakness. Sometimes it's about friction, fit, and forgotten habits. And fixing it can begin at the bottom. You're not falling apart. You're learning to stand with smarter tools. Of course, even the best shoes in the world cannot help if the legs inside them have quietly grown weaker. Balance is not just about what's under your feet. It's about the strength behind your step. And many older men are losing that strength without even realizing it, until one day, their body no longer catches them. Mistake number 2, believing that yard work or walking is enough strength training. For most of my life, I believed staying active meant I was staying strong. I mowed the lawn, carried groceries, walked the dog, and figured that was more than enough. I never thought I needed to exercise. That word sounded like something for bodybuilders or gym rats. But when I turned 72 years old, I started noticing something strange. Getting up from my favorite recliner took more effort. Lifting the trash bin felt heavier than usual. And once, while stepping off a curb, I lost my footing. Not because I tripped, but because my legs didn't respond fast enough. That moment was humbling. I realized movement isn't the same as muscle. After 50, men can lose up to 1 to 2% of muscle mass every year. That loss is silent, steady, and dangerous. Because your muscles are your armor. Without strong legs, your body can't react to a stumble. Without a solid core, your spine doesn't stay upright. And without resistance training, not just walking, your body slowly forgets how to hold itself. So I started small, 10 minutes, 3 times a week. I used a pair of water bottles as light dumbbells. I did leg lifts while watching the news. Wall push-ups during commercials. No gym, no special equipment, just consistent signals to my muscles that I still needed them. Within weeks, I noticed my balance returning. But more importantly, I felt different inside. Because strength isn't just in the muscles, it's in the mind. Every time you rise from a chair without effort, every time you walk up steps without bracing, it tells your brain, I've still got this. And that message changes everything. This isn't vanity. This is building the muscle to protect your pride. But strength alone is not enough. Even the strongest man can be taken down by a single misstep, especially when his eyes no longer send him the right information. Because balance is not just built in the legs, it's guided by what you see. And many men, without knowing it, are walking into danger simply because their vision has quietly changed. Mistake number 3. Ignoring that vision changes are messing with your steps. I used to believe my eyesight was just fine. Sure, things got a little blurry at night. Sometimes I missed the edge of a step. But I chalked it up to age, not a real problem. One evening, I got out of bed to use the bathroom. I didn't turn on the light. Didn't want to wake my wife. I'd walked that hallway 1,000 times. But this time, my foot caught the edge of a hallway rug I didn't even see. I didn't fall, but I hit the doorframe hard. And for a moment, I felt like the ground was sliding out from under me. That's when I learned something that changed the way I look at everything. Your eyes are not just for reading. They're part of your internal GPS. They help your brain understand depth, motion, and where your feet are in space. As we age, small changes in vision, even ones we barely notice, can throw that system off. Doctors say even mild glare, poor contrast, or outdated prescriptions can increase fall risk significantly in older adults, and most men go far too long without updating their glasses. I hadn't changed mine in 5 years. After that scare, I went to the eye doctor. My prescription had shifted, and I got lenses with anti-glare and better contrast for low light. I also changed the bulbs in our hallway and added 2 soft night lights. The difference? I no longer squint in the dark. I no longer second-guess my footing, and I no longer take my eyesight for granted. Seeing clearly is not weakness, it's sharpening the weapon you walk with. When was the last time you had your eyes checked? Not for reading, but for safety? So we've talked about shoes, muscles, and vision. All things you can see and feel. But now we need to look at something quieter. Something hiding in your medicine cabinet. Because sometimes, it's not your body that's failing you. It's what you've been putting into it, day after day, without questioning. Mistake number 4. Not noticing that your meds are making you dizzy. It started with a little lightheadedness whenever I stood up. I thought maybe I skipped lunch, or maybe I was just tired that day. But the feeling kept coming back. Then one evening, I got up from the couch a little too fast, and the room tilted. I stumbled sideways into the table. My wife caught me just in time. That night, I finally read the label on my blood pressure medication, the same one I'd taken for years. And there it was, plain as day. May cause dizziness, drowsiness, or loss of balance. I had brushed it off. Most men do. We trust what we're prescribed. We don't want to complain. But the truth is, as we age, our bodies metabolize medicine differently. The dosage that worked at 55 might be too strong at 75. And when you combine multiple prescriptions, blood pressure, cholesterol, pain relief, sleep aids, the side effects can overlap and hit you where it hurts most: your balance. Doctors don't always see the full picture, but you do. You live inside your body every day. If something feels off, even slightly, write it down. Keep a list. Bring it to your next appointment. When I did, my doctor adjusted my dose. The dizziness disappeared within a week. I stood taller. I walked steadier. And for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. A strong man listens, not just to others, but to the warnings inside. Sometimes the body sends warnings in whispers, and sometimes in habits we never thought twice about. If you've started reaching for walls, gripping countertops, or steadying yourself on furniture as you walk through your own home, it might feel harmless. But what if that quiet habit is your body's way of asking for help, and you're too proud to answer? Mistake number 5, reaching for the wall. Instead of using a walking stick. I used to think walking sticks were for people who had given up. Weak men. Old men. Not me. I was still moving fine, still independent. Sure, I'd lean on the hallway wall now and then, grab the back of a chair on my way to the kitchen, but I told myself that was just being careful. I didn't see it for what it really was: furniture walking. Reaching out, step by step, for anything that might steady me. One afternoon, I was carrying a laundry basket from the bedroom. My hands were full. I didn't have a wall to touch. As I stepped onto the hardwood floor, I shifted slightly and suddenly lost control. I didn't fall, but I dropped the basket and staggered into the doorframe. That shook me. The next day, I went to the store and found a cane. Not the clunky metal kind, but one with a polished wooden handle, solid grip, and a look that reminded me of my grandfather's old walking staff. At first, I felt self-conscious using it, but something happened I didn't expect. People didn't pity me. They complimented me. "Nice cane. That's sharp." And inside, I felt steady. Not broken, not weak, just prepared. Using a walking stick doesn't mean you've lost your strength. It means you've gained the wisdom to protect it. Because the wall won't catch you. But a good cane will. Using a cane isn't giving in. It's standing taller with wisdom. There's something many men assume will always be there, like breath in the lungs or blood in the veins. It's balance. We trust it without question, until the moment it's gone. But here's the truth most men never hear. Balance is not something you keep by accident. It's something you must train, even now, in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Mistake number 6, never doing balance exercises. Until you fall, I had never even heard of balance exercises. To me, exercise meant push-ups, weights, or maybe a walk around the block. I didn't think standing on one foot or shifting my weight side to side counted for anything. Until one morning, I climbed up on a small stool to change a light bulb in the garage. I reached up, and as I twisted, my ankle gave way. My foot hit the edge, and I came down hard. I landed on my back. Thankfully, nothing broke. But it could have been so much worse. That was my wake-up call. I began reading, and what I learned changed everything. As we age, the tiny muscles in our ankles, hips, and core weaken. The neural pathways that help us adjust to motion, a slip, a shift, a sudden turn, slow down. And if we don't use them, we lose them. That's why balance practice is essential, not optional. Not someday. I started simple. Standing on one foot while brushing my teeth, heel to toe walking across the hallway, shifting weight from left to right with a chair nearby. Just 5 minutes a day. Within weeks, I noticed something. I stopped reaching for the wall. I stopped hesitating on uneven ground. And one day, music came on in the kitchen, and I caught myself dancing. I had not done that in years. That's when I realized balance isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's about trust. And when you can trust your body again, your spirit follows. A fall doesn't mean you're weak. It means your body is waiting for practice. Now here's a mistake that sneaks up so quietly. Most men never see it coming. You might feel a little tired, a little foggy, maybe lightheaded when you stand. You tell yourself it's just age. But the truth might be as simple as something you're not doing. Something as basic as drinking enough water. Mistake number 7. Drinking coffee all day, but not enough water. For most of my life, I drank coffee like it was fuel. One in the morning, one after lunch, maybe a soda with dinner. Water? That was for workouts, and I hadn't done those in years. I never felt thirsty, so I figured I was fine. But then came the afternoons where I felt dizzy getting up. My legs felt slow. My thoughts a little cloudy. I thought it was just getting older, until my doctor asked me a simple question. How much water do you drink every day? I didn't have a good answer. Turns out our sense of thirst fades as we age. You might be running low on fluids and not even know it. And dehydration, even mild, can cause dizziness, fatigue, poor circulation, and yes, loss of balance. I started tracking my intake. Not soda, not tea, just plain water, 6 to 8 cups a day. I added lemon to make it more enjoyable. Left a bottle by my chair, one by my bed. Within a week, the difference was startling. I had more energy. My legs felt lighter. And I stopped bracing myself every time I stood up. Hydration is not a luxury. It's not a trend. It's your body's foundation. Your balance needs water, not bravado. We've talked about shoes, strength, eyesight, medication, hydration, but none of it matters if the battlefield around you is full of hidden traps, because no matter how strong or steady a man feels, if his home is quietly working against him, all it takes is one wrong step to change everything. Mistake number 8, living in a home that's become quietly dangerous. I've walked through my home thousands of times. I built part of it with my own hands. I know every step, every creak in the floor. That's what I told myself the day I tripped over the edge of an old rug carrying groceries through the back door. My arms were full, and I did not see the corner lifting. My foot caught it. I twisted hard, and had to sit on the floor for 10 minutes before I could get back up. That sprained ankle kept me from driving, from walking, even from sleeping well. All because of a rug I had stepped over 100 times before. The truth is, most homes are designed for convenience, not for aging. And what once felt normal, dim lights, slippery steps, low shelves, scattered cords, can become daily dangers. I took a weekend and walked through the house with new eyes. I got rid of every loose rug, added non-slip mats in the bathroom, installed grab bars by the toilet and shower, replaced a flickering hallway bulb with a motion sensor nightlight, and I moved the pans I use most from the bottom drawer to the middle shelf. No more bending and twisting. These weren't big changes, but they gave me something priceless: peace of mind. My house didn't get safer because I gave up. It got safer because I chose to keep living in it with dignity. Fixing your home isn't weakness. It's protecting your kingdom. You know, it can be hard to admit when something feels off. As men, we're taught to push through, to tough it out, to walk it off, even when the ground beneath us begins to shift. But losing balance is not just about falling. It's about losing trust in your body, your freedom, your sense of control. And here's the quiet truth most never say out loud: you are not losing strength. You're being called to adapt. These 8 mistakes, they're not proof of weakness. They're invitations to make simple changes that protect your pride, your independence, and your peace. You still have time. You still have power. Whether it's swapping out those old shoes, lifting your legs during the news, or finally installing that grab bar in the shower, Each small action is a declaration. I am still here. I still walk with purpose. So let me ask you, which one of these 8 mistakes surprised you the most? Or better yet, what's one change you're willing to start today? Leave a comment and write. Number 1. Your story might just be the reminder another man needs. If this video brought you strength or peace, please like it, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more healing truths and positive energy. Because aging should never mean silence, shame, or surrender. See you in the next video.